Let's have a look and see what's new on Amazon Prime from the 2nd until the 8th of November. It's pilot season over at Amazon Prime, and they've released a few new shows that are actually worth watching. First up is The Numberlies. This is a charming kids TV show that I watched yesterday, and my little one really enjoyed it. Set in a city of metal and concrete, 5 friends discover a tiny sprout, something they've never seen before. If You Give a Mouse a Cookie is a very simple little cartoon that my 3-year-old is asked to play over and over again. He laughs each time. I haven't really seen him laugh very much at cartoons. This one he finds very funny. One Mississippi is a new dark comedy inspired by Tig Notoro's life, starring Tig Notaro as she goes back to Mississippi and has to deal with the death of her mother and her ailing health. Edge the Loner is a new western thriller from Shane Black, the writer of Lethal Weapon and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I haven't seen this yet, however it looks like it might go the distance. About a hero who returns home from the Civil War to discover that his closest comrades in arms have betrayed him and sparked a bloody reign of vengeance. Heiston is a new drama about a 19-year-old struggling to find his way in the world that he doesn't quite understand. Zed, or as they pronounce it, Z, is a bioseries of Zelda Fitzgerald, a Southern belle turned writer of modern feminism. I don't actually have a poster for this one to put in the video, so I just stuck a nice picture of Christina Ricci because, well, why not? Veer Drake is a 2004 film with Imelda Staunton about a selfless woman who devotes her life to looking after her family, sick neighbours and elderly mother. However, she also secretly visits a woman and helps to induce miscarriages for unwanted pregnancies. Sounds like a cheerful comedy. Dead Rising Watchtower is a spin-off from the Dead Rising games about a zombie outbreak in which a group of people fight to survive in a town infested by zombies. This one looks to be slightly better than the usual zombie drivel that you get direct to DVD or stream, and with the game behind it, it should have enough of a world to be able to build on to make it a good bit better. I will be watching this. Van Diemen's Land is a gothic tale of 8 escaped convicts that battle against some of the world's harshest terrain whilst exploring the wilderness of what is now Tasmania. It was made back in 2009 and gets somewhat middling review scores. One person even described it as Tourism Tasmania with a touch of cannibalism. Tinkerbell is the first in a long-running video series that spins off from the 1953 Disney Peter Pan. There are 6 movies in the series, and I imagine each and every one of them is an utter joy. The Aviator's Wife is a 1981 film based on a classic book that explores the complexity of young love. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm bored already. Judgment in Berlin is an 80s drama with Martin Sheen and Sean Penn about an American judge in Germany who must decide if the hijacking of an East German plane into West Berlin was justified. This looks like an interesting drama. Back before people started to take him really seriously, Matthew McConaughey made Surfer Dude, a comedy that actually seemed to strike a note with surfers themselves about a twisting tale of a soul-searching surfer experiencing an existential crisis. Also starring Woody Harrelson, so it's a pre-union for True Detective. I guess it's that time of year we're going to start seeing Christmas movies filling up our streaming boxes. This One Bad Christmas, just looks dreadful. Big Earl, the owner of a Christmas tree lot. Oh, he has a big heart and big visions. The 1 week before Christmas, his son Derek, trying to prove to his dad that he is a success, gets in big trouble and puts the survival of his dad's business in jeopardy. Sounds amazing. All Good Things is a love story of murder mystery set against a backdrop of a 1980s real estate dynasty. My wife watched this the other night and said it was pretty good. I think that's got something to do with the fact that Ryan Gosling's in it, but she won't admit that. Baggage Claim is a comedy about a woman who wants to keep herself from being the oldest woman in her entire family to wed. Montana embarks on a 30-day and 30,000-mile expedition to charm a potential suitor to become her fiancé. If it's as good as it sounds, it's gonna be crap. Andy Parsons' grunting live stand-up show from 2011 arrives on Amazon Prime. I've seen this one. It's pretty funny. Some people don't like Andy Parsons, but this is a pretty funny show. Another stand-up is Reginald D. Hunter, live in the midst of crackers. I am not familiar with Reginald D. Hunter, however I have had crackers in my life, so I might give this a go, as there is a common reference. A third stand-up is now available as well, Adam Hill's Happyism, billed as comedy anecdotes and audience participation. Never heard of him, but I'll give it a go. A third comedian that I haven't actually heard of, Josh Widdicombe Live and Another Thing, is there to watch. I'll give him a go too. Finally a comedian I've heard of, Sean Locke, Lockepedia Live. I like Sean Locke, he's very funny. I will watch this too. Good grief. Yet more stand-up. Right, okay, so there's Frank Skinner Live, there's John Richardson, Funny Magnet, and another Andy Parsons one. So you're covered if you need stand-up comedy. Everything's Rosie is an animated TV series for kids aged between 3 and 6. Originally went out on CBeebies, and it follows the adventures of a little girl named Rosie and her friends Will, Holly, Big Bear, Oakley the ancient oak tree, and Raggles the rabbit. There's 2 of the 4 seasons of Ray Donovan now available. This is reputedly a very good show about a man who gets things done amongst the Hollywood elite. Curious George, a Halloween Boo Fest, is a direct-to-video follow-on from the Curious George franchise, this time set around Halloween. Then there's Curious George Swings into Spring, which is him in spring. The Devil's Advocate is a very well-known thriller with Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino, with Al Pacino historically playing the devil. Well worth watching if you haven't seen it. Hobo with a Shotgun was an attempt to hark back to those days of the old Grindhouse films to shock and disturb anyone who watched it. It had Rutger Hauer in it, which made for better viewing, and I think the title is just the selling point here. Other than that, it's alright, I suppose. The Company Men is a drama from 2010 set around the economic crisis and layoffs in large corporations. It's the cast that gets me here, and this film just went under the radar. It's got Ben Affleck, Tommy Lee Jones, Chris Cooper, Maria Bella, and Kevin Costner. Apparently it's very tough to watch this film. It's raw, it's dramatic, and it hits some nerves. But with a cast like that, I can't pass it up. Forget Paris is a romantic comedy with Billy Crystal and Deborah Winger. Looks very much like When Harry Met Sally. I have seen this, but I don't remember anything about it, and I keep getting it mixed up with that one with Kevin Kline and Meg Ryan. Now I think about it, this is probably one of the last films that Billy Crystal was the leading man in that was actually any good. Another Christina Ricci flick, Penelope from 2007, is a romantic tale about a young heiress born under a curse that can only be broken when she finds true love. Also has James McAvoy, Richard E. Grant, and Reese Witherspoon. Disney's Titanic flop, John Carter arrives. I, like many other people, haven't seen this. However, I will certainly be watching it because I think it actually looks pretty good. I've heard pretty good reports about it being decent entertainment. And given that it's written by Edgar Rice Burroughs of Tarzan fame, it's maybe worth checking out. We now have classic comedy, Police Academy. I know a lot of the sequels are garbage, but the first one still holds up. It's funny, it's inventive, it's got a great cast. You've got David Graff, Michael Winslow, Steve Guttenberg, Bubba Smith, Kim Cattrall, and Leslie Easterbrook. The gags are still hilarious, and it really is a historic entry into comedies in the 80s. It was a groundbreaker, a trendsetter, and it's worth revisiting. My pick of the week has to be Grindhouse Planet Terror. This is Robert Rodriguez's half of the Grindhouse double bill with Rosie McGowan, Freddie Rodriguez, Michael Benn, the awesome Jeff Fahey, Josh Brolin, and unbilled appearances from Bruce Willis and Quentin Tarantino. The movie is chaos, ridiculous, over-the-top nonsense, but it's just so much fun. It's icky, it's gooey, and there's a heck of a lot of barbecue sauce in it. It's worth checking out if you haven't seen it and worth revisiting if you have. Thanks very much for watching, and remember to check out what's new on Netflix.